That's Swayze.
And that's Siobhan.
Welcome to Wig and Wine Wednesday. So today I am wearing the uni wig in Lavender Dawn.
And mine actually comes from a place here in Utah called Asian City. But
Oh,
they do have an
yes, I
online
love
shop.
that place.
So I'll link a similar one from that same place. You can get it online. They do a lot of cosplay wigs. It's a really cool store.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the wine we're drinking today, Siobhan picked out. It's called Seven Moons. And
It's
yeah.
a red
Why'd you pick
blend
this
from
one?
California. The
So
moon
it's
cycle
witchy?
is like witchy, yeah,
Yeah.
and I love witchy stuff, so
We're dressed pretty
It-
good for this.
it
wine
caught my
too.
eye.
Yeah. Looks like a Siobhan bottle.
It does. I was like, I need this wine in my life.
Awesome. Should we taste
And
it?
we got our black bottles
Oh,
to
yeah.
go with it, or our glasses.
We're a little dark today.
Feeling a little low.
Matches our mood.
Yeah, we're a little dark lately.
Yeah, we're both having we're going through it.
We're getting through it.
Going through it.
All right. Do you want to read the notes?
Our red blend opens with aromas of chocolate-covered cherries, baking spices, and vanilla bean. Flavors of strawberry preserves, cherry cola, and milk chocolate follow through to a smooth, fruit-forward, lingering finish. Delicious paired with a broad range of foods from barbecued chicken and Capri salad to takeout Chinese.
Heck yeah.
This sounds awesome. It's like the perfect
Wine for everything?
well, it's a perfect wine for like self-care night. Like
Yeah,
order
perfect.
Chinese, watch a rom-com, drink yourself this red blend, and hopefully it's good. Ooh, I get the chocolate for sure. Weird. Like after you swallow it, it's almost like after you swallow chocolate, you have that like
Oh,
weird. I
there it
totally
is. It's
feel
like
it.
velvety
Like at
in
the
your mouth,
end,
kind of.
yeah. Kind of like the way your tongue feels after you swallow some milk chocolate. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So today's topic comes from Alex R. Today's topic comes from Alex R. And he says, if you could go back in time knowing what you know today, what would you do differently? And that is something I think about so much. Whenever I get super sad, will drive to my old house and neighborhood I grew up and just drive around where I used to hang out and bawl my eyes out. Because it just, like, when life gets really hard, I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish I could just go back and start over
so
knowing what I
cool.
know. Yeah, just back when the most important thing was, like, what are your friends doing on the weekend instead of how am I going to live and not be homeless? It's
Amen to
growing
that.
up is such a joke. It's not good. But if you could go back to high school, like I didn't actually graduate high school. I ended up getting my GED and didn't walk with my class or anything. And every day that I was at school, I just spent it trying to figure out how I was going to get out of the next day of school because I hated it so bad. And I just had such bad anxiety. I didn't pay attention. I didn't care. I just didn't want to be there. I was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could go back, I would just enjoy it and like do it.
Same. I would do. If I could go back, I think I would not date the idiots that I dated for
I wouldn't
sure.
date anyone.
Exactly.
It's such a waste of
Yeah.
time.
I wouldn't date, but I would focus really hard on my mental health because,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like through high school, through hair school, through everything, like I struggled so hard. And in high school is when I was, like trying new medications and like trying to figure it out. And it was messy. Like I was all over the place. And so,
But plus with emotions and hormones you're
Yeah.
already going through in high
and
school.
I did graduate. And so for that, like I didn't go to school very often, but I still graduated. And so that I'm okay with because I had a lot of fun, like social memories of like not being in school and ditching school with my friends. And so that I would probably still do the same, like only go to school when I feel like necessary to like pass the class and learn something from it and maybe pay more attention to some things. But I would still probably skip and like totally focus on relationships, but also mostly myself.
Yeah.
I was so concerned about like other
Fitting
people and making other people happy and always like I mean I still struggle with it. Like I always want everyone else around me to be happy and like enjoying things and I want them to feel better, but then I don't take the time to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
And I wish
exactly.
that I could go back and like learn that sooner.
I have a lot of situations like that too where I just wish I would have stood up for myself instead of like trying to be polite. Just because as a girl you're kind of raised to just be polite and not take up too much space.
Mm-hmm.
And now there are things, like little things that looking back where I'm like, I should have just been like, what the heck are you doing? Leave me alone. You know what I mean? Just like
Mhm.
with creepy older dudes or just guys treating you horribly or friends taking advantage of you
Oh,
and
yeah.
you just
Like,
being like,
calling
I have
out.
to go along with it.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back and just be like, screw you, dude. This is messed up. You creep. Get out of here. Like, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take anything. I was always so just like, yeah, whatever you say, I'll just roll with the punches. Instead, I'd fight back, be a little more feisty. And I can't express how much I would not date. Like, anyone.
For
I wouldn't
real.
date anyone. It doesn't even make sense. It's a waste of time. It's distracting. It doesn't help you, really. Like, maybe a little bit, but you have your whole life ahead of
I'd
you.
like to look back and be like, okay, I learned this from this person. I learned this.
Yeah,
I
but
learned this. But I feel like
I'd rather learn about myself and, like,
Yeah,
relationships between
exactly.
friends and, like, a stronger relationship with my parents and family instead of trying to get away from them all the time and just...
yeah,
I would worry about those kind of relationships way before I started looking for a partner because you really have to know
Totally.
yourself before you know what you need and want. You
yeah,
know?
totally. About the feisty thing though, that's one thing I wish that I could go back and keep. Cause I was feisty.
You
I
were?
did not give a damn what anyone thought. I wore what I wanted. I did what I wanted. I said what
That's
I
true.
thought. And then somewhere along the lines, like in high school, you get confused, you lose yourself, whatever.
Someone says something mean and
Yeah,
sticks with
and then
you and chips away.
Somewhere along the way, I got like weird. I think I just dated too many jerks that made me feel like crap for being that
Right?
person because
They
I was
break you
too
down
independent
little
and
by
strong.
little.
Like, no, this is me, and then they're like, no, it's not.
They
Like,
force
no,
you
it's
into
me.
a
That-
mold,
no,
and
it's
then
not.
you
You're like, okay. So I wish that I could go back and the attitude and the confidence that I had in high school and keep that.
I wish I would have been that way.
Right?
I was so quiet and shy and just whatever anyone says, just stay in the back row, don't say anything. And I wish I just would have taken up space, really. Like,
Mhm.
instead of trying to just be out of the way all the time and not interfere with anything, I wish I just would have experienced it and just, like, dove into the experience and been a teenager instead of just spending every day trying to get out of being a teenager.
Yeah.
Do you have any, like, big moments in your life that you look back at and you're like, why didn't I do that?
Oh, yeah. They always say you're going to regret what you didn't do more than what you did do. And I 100%
Absolutely
agree
true.
with that. So, like, I look back, I'm like, why didn't I just do that? Because there's times when I'm like, I really want to do something, but I'm like
Talk
too
yourself out of
nervous
it.
or too shy or too insecure about it. And I'm like, no, no, no. And, like, I even have, like, a friend, like, pushing me, like, do it, do it, do it. And then I'm like, no. And I still don't. And it's like, why not?
Just do it.
Who
yeah.
cares? Like, be a dork. Embarrass yourself.
It's easy to say in the future, though. It's hard at the time.
Yeah.
But it is something that would be so great if you could just...
Well, even just a few years
Do what
ago,
you're not
I wanted to
afraid
do karaoke. I was in Cancun. There was a karaoke night. It was this whole fun thing, and I'm like, oh, let me find a song. And I was married at the time, and so with my husband at the time, I'm like, what about this song? He's like, if you want. And it, like, I just really wanted him to be like, do it, go do it.
Yeah.
And I would have done it because I was like, I just wanted to go karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, like, I just felt uncomfortable and, like, unsupported and just not excited.
Yeah.
And so, which, I mean, that's all my insecurities at the time. But I'm like,
Yeah.
if I could go back and just, like, who cares? I'm singing, like, screw you, dude.
Mhm.
That'd be great.
Yeah, totally. That's even with my personal YouTube channel. I had been talking about starting a beauty channel for over 3 years now.
Same.
Yeah. It took me 4 videos to get to the point where I'm actually monetized and can start making money. And I'm like, if I would have started this 3 years ago when I said I would be in a completely different situation right now. But now I'm 3 years behind. And it's so true what they say. Like, the time will pass.
Mhm.
Do it anyway. Like, if just would have done it.
But aside from looking back and what you would do differently, I think it's also really good to look and be like, you know, the timing's perfect now.
Yeah.
Why didn't it happen then? Because it's
There's a
better
reason.
now. Like, things, like, I usually try to look at it that way, like, well, if I could go back, I wish I could do this. But I'd rather be like, yeah, that didn't happen, but now this is what I
Yeah.
have and this is where I'm going and it's awesome.
True.
But yeah, I talked about doing a beauty channel for like years. And I still haven't.
we're doing this.
I know. I'm like, now we're doing Wig and Wine Wednesday,
Which is so fun.
which I did talk about for at least a year, well, 2 years almost.
Even with me, you talked to me and you're like, we should do Wig and Wine Wednesday. I was like, yes, I want to do it. And we had a date planned. And then I think like 3 or
You
4
got
days
pregnant.
before I found out I was pregnant. So I had to cancel on her. And I didn't want to say why because we weren't going to tell people yet. So I was like, I'm so sorry. Can't do it.
Yeah, you were
Bye.
like, Alex's parents are in town or something, and so you're like, we'll have to reschedule. And then I never heard back, and I mean, life gets busy, and
Yeah, we lived far away. And
we didn't hang out that often back then. And so then, next thing I knew, you're like, by the way,
I was like, this is why I couldn't
I'm
do Wig and Wine
pregnant, so we
Wednesday.
couldn't drink wine. I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I felt really bad because I was pretty excited about it. So once we decided to actually do it, it's fun. So if you guys want to let us know what you would go back in time and change if you knew what you knew now, let us know in the comments below.
And we need to rate our wine.
Oh yeah, I don't love it all that much.
You
It's
don't like reds.
Fine. I'm trying to. I want to.
I know, that's why we need to keep trying more reds.
We'll keep doing reds. It's,
I like it more than a lot, like, now that it's oxidized
Yeah.
and we're, like, sipping on it.
It's not bad, but it's not like we've had a few wines on this channel that are just delicious to the point where they're
Yeah.
almost like they
It's
quench
like
your
candy.
thirst. Yeah, and you're like, I just want to drink this.
This
all night
one's
long.
definitely more dry, but I give it 3.5.
I'm gonna say 3. So
That's
6.5.
Good. The
combined.
bottle's beautiful, and I love the cork, so
It is.
that
It had a
almost bumps
black
it up to a
cork.
4.
Black bottle, black label, black cork, and
Just like my soul. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram just to keep updated on when we're posting and maybe get like a heads up before we post on what it's about.
some behind the scenes stuff every now and then.
Yeah, it's Wig and Wine Wednesdays on Insta. So just spelled out, no spaces, no periods, no dashes.
Yeah. And if you want to send in a topic that we can talk about in future videos, we'll have all that information as well as the links to the wine and to the wigs in the down bar below. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
We're so chill today.
We're going through it.
I know, I'm like, we're struggling.